this is currently my desk. As you can see, there are a couple of different containers, and then I also have this little drawer area, but as you can see, it takes up a lot of space and is not very efficient. So this is all my pens. Then I have some markers, and on the bottom shelf I have some erasers and some sticky notes. And this just takes up a lot of space overall because of the shape, so I came up with a really nice organizer inspired from this organizer on Amazon to fix that problem. It's a lot more efficient than vertical storage, and especially for markers, the best way to prolong the life of your markers. So today I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. The materials you are going to need are some styrofoam or foam board. I have the Elmer's multi-pack, a glue gun. You can also use normal glue, and then I have some glue sticks as well, an X-Acto knife to cut all of the styrofoam, and that's it. The first thing you're going to want to do is to take a ruler and use it to measure out the space that you want your organizer to be in, so you can see how big your dimensions are. And I'm going to have my organizer right in this space, so I'm going to make it 9 inches long, 9 inches tall, and 7 inches deep. You can change the depth of your organizer based on the types of pens that you have. Something I would recommend to do to get this correct size for each section is to take your existing storage cup or whatever and measure the bottom. So I have this mason jar with my Tombow brush pens, and you can see that it's a 3x3, but I think this size is perfect because with a square organizer, there are corners which the circle doesn't have, so there will be a bit more space for your markers. The first thing you're going to want to do is take your styrofoam and measure all of it out. So these are the dimensions I came up with. It's going to be 9 inches tall, 9 inches wide, and 7 inches deep. Again, you can customize it to however you want, but this is what I'm going to be doing if you'd like to follow along with me. To cut your piece, what you're going to want to do is to take your ruler, like so, and make sure it's in a straight line, and then use the X-Acto knife to score it. I like running it over a couple of times so that you get the cleanest cut, and I also like to have my cry cut mat right underneath so that it doesn't scratch my desk or anything. So I finished cutting all of my pieces out, and I have 8 9x7s, as you can see. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I also have, for the back piece, 1 square 9x9 piece, and now I'm going to show you how to put them all together. So this is the part where I'm going to need my glue gun, so I plugged it in. This is a little glue gun holder that I have made. If you guys want to know how to make it, let me know down below if you want to know how to make it, and maybe I'll make a video on it if anyone's interested. This is the Elmer's Craft One Dual Temp large glue gun, and then I have the large glue sticks that go with it as well. So now that my glue gun is heated up, I'm going to take my square piece, and then I'm going to take a 9x7 piece, and I'm going to put some glue along the side, and glue gun gets cold very easily, so you're going to want to work fast. So there, and then I'm going to want to just carefully attach that like so, and you're going to want to make a 90-degree angle like this. And after it's done, you can go ahead and trim off any excess glue that's left, but just let it harden. And you're going to do that all the way around this whole entire thing. Now that the basic outline of my little box is done, I'm going to take my 2 middle pieces and put them in. The trick to doing this is you're going to want to take your ruler and measure out and put a line at the top so that it will go in straight and not crooked, and so it'll be somewhat like this, but you're going to want to measure it out so that it's spaced properly. And so I'll do that and show you what it looks like. As you can see, I finished gluing in the 2 pieces that go sideways, and now what you're going to do is you have 2 of these 9x7s left over, and you're going to want to cut the 9x7 like this into thirds. So I've made the marks on where it divides into thirds, and now I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to slice across it. Just cutting out the pieces, and this is what it looks like. So I actually didn't use hot glue gun for the inside because these pieces are pretty much held together with tension, and this way if in the future I want to change anything or maybe I have more markers and want a bigger section, I can just take out the pieces and change the sizing. This one was the only one that was a little bit loose, so I probably will end up putting a little dot of glue on this one just so it stays, but all the other ones, they're like really in there. As you can see, it's really turning out. So there are some spots that there's a bit of a gap, so you can cover it with paper. And at the top, some spots are uneven as well, so you can go in with your X-Acto knife and smooth things out. Now that I have used the X-Acto knife to finish making sure that all of the edges are pretty smooth, I'm going to take some pretty paper and line all around the outsides. The pad that I'm using is from Michaels. It's called the Recollections Blossoms and Bliss paper pad. It's a 12 by 12 and it has a bunch of different pretty paper in it. So the paper that I chose is this super pretty flowers design, and I'm just going to cut out the sizes, and I'm only going to be putting it on the top, the side, and the other side, because the bottom is the bottom and no one will see it, and the back will be against my desk, so I won't be able to see it. And here is the finished product. I am super happy with the way it turned out, and I think it's super customizable to my pens, and it'll store all of them perfectly. Now it's time to go ahead and put the pens in. So the first markers I put in were all my cool color brush pens, so my Tombos and some of my Arteza brush pens. And then in the second one, I put my warm colored Tombow and Arteza brush pens as well. In the third one, I put my colored pencils on the bottom, and then my watercolor pencils flipped, and then I put my flare pens along with all of my ballpoint pens that are colored. And then I also had some Frixon pens that I put in there as well. Then I put some of my black pens, like my Micron pen and some black Sharpies. And then I put my highlighters in the next one. I also added some gold colored Sharpies, and then I put some pencils along with some erasers in the bottom right container, along with my X-Acto knives. And this is just a little electrical eraser that I put in there as well. And then I have my double-sided tape in the middle container on the bottom, and I added another eraser. And then lastly, I just have some markers and some double-sided marker brush pens, and that is it. I absolutely love the way this turned out. It actually held a lot more than I thought it would, and it leaves so much free space for me to use, and it's super easy to access, and it allows the ink of the markers not to dry out. So over here I have my cool colored brush pens. So these are Tombow and these are some Arteza brush pens. These are my warm colors. These are just my flare pens. A lot of these are dry, but I just put them in there anyway, along with some of my ballpoint pens. Then in here I just have some of my highlighters. This is just a marker that I like to use as highlighter. Here is just black pens and a couple of Sharpies. These ones over here are my watercolor pencils, and these are my normal color pencils. Then down here I just have a couple of pencils, an eraser, and an X-Acto knife. Here is just some tape, and here is a couple of just normal markers. So this is the finished product. I absolutely love the way it turned out. If you guys found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more content. This totally transformed my space and left so much more area for me to do other things, and I love the way it turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!